go so. Walk round, district or town, we go so. Westmoreland, go so. Hanover, go so. Wave your hand, in the air, and go so. Walk around, in the town, and go so. Walk round, go so. Dayton, go so. Go so, go so. Every man's hand, doctor, just hold on tight, hold it now. So,
Good day again. Now I'm bringing you another. This is part 3 of the conference that went on. As I said, I split it up because it's long. All right, this time Mark Golding, he's celebrating the seats that he have won. Kaye says he has a stronger team now, and we are humans. We're all happy that when we attempt at a thing and we don't win, but at least he have gained a lot of seats. That's more strength for him, and now he wasn't a pushover with the 14, but he's more stronger now. You understand me? And if they could manage him with the 14, I don't know how they're going to manage him now with the 28. Remember, there's a lot of smart people he has on his side, and he's a very smart man. And now you have one more smart people again. You understand? With Dayton Campbell and Damien Crawford, and those others. You have one over there that side, and there's Nikisha Burchell. Oh my God, the team just looks wonderful now. So he's happy, he's happy in a way. I know that there's a part there that he's not pleased of losing, not getting the chance to be a prime minister, but there will always be a next time. And in a way, it's sorry, not sorry, because guess what? Them the IPA promises that Andrew make 9 to 10 years ago, and them make the other day, Andrew, let me see what I'm going to do, in them a couple years away have left. You understand me? And if Mr. Golden, if we take it for him the other day now, and if we go clean up it all over now, that's too hard for Mr. Golden, as much as I know that God will carry him through. But, we all gonna see. So in a way, let's see what's going on, and just stay tuned and listen. There's another part coming after this, the final part. So thank you very much.
Are going to have a team in Parliament now that is going to be formidable as an opposition, given the people who won. And we have an excellent team. And the fact that we got 97,000 more votes this time than we got in 2020 is also significant as an increase. Our opponents got 5,000 more votes. So it was a definite improvement in our performance. Disappointment at the same time that we weren't able to deliver that final, 5 additional, call it 4, that we needed to just have 32, which is the threshold for winning. That was disappointing. And when we look at the seats that we thought we would have won and didn't, we have to look carefully at why we weren't able to prevail there. I think that the reasons for that were more to do with factors that took place on election day itself and maybe the night before or 2 nights before, rather than the campaign as a whole. I think the campaign as a whole, we ran a pretty exemplary campaign. I think it was a much more active campaign than our opponents in terms of presence on the ground and meetings and rallies and the attendance at those rallies. I think our manifesto was delivered in a reasonable time so people could digest it and was well received. I think that our performance in the election debates, where most people feel that we won each of the 3 debates, was also significant and helped us along. But, we weren't able to actually cross the line first because things went on, as I said, the very end of the process, which we were not able to respond to effectively on the day. And for that, we must all take some responsibility, including me as party president. Is there somebody determining who speaks? Right? Yeah. So,
Morning, gentlemen.
yeah.
What positives can you take from the campaign? Excuse me. Oh,
The
sorry.
speaker's right.
Yes. What positives can you take from the campaign? And what are your views generally about your team, the team you put together? Okay, it's a bit disappointing to lose, obviously, but um, when you reflect back to say 5 years ago, from where you came from there to where you are now, what positives? And secondly, what plans do you have to bolster your treasury? You're definitely a political force in this country again, and maybe perhaps the treasury angle of it will get you over the line, maybe possibly next time. But you have to have an effective treasury if you're fighting a campaign in the 21st century. So what do you see going forward? How do you entice, say, the business community, other people to bolster that treasury campaign?
Yeah. In terms of positives, I think that we now have a united party. We have a team that is working together and has worked together well throughout the campaign. I think that the organization as a whole is strong. That's not to say there aren't areas that need improvement. There are. But we did significant training, for example, of our workers over the last several months. And we were really building on the success in the local government elections, February 2024, where we won the popular vote quite handsomely there. And we ended up with six municipal corporations and the city municipality of Portmore, making seven, which is the same number as the JLP have, but we have one more division than they do. So there's been a kind of process over the 5 years of building an improvement, which I think was reflected in the 97,000 additional votes that we got and the 14 additional seats that we won. Now, going forward, you mentioned the Treasury. I mean, we got, I would say, good support from the donor base that we have, corporate and individual. We were able to finance our program. We didn't have the sort of additional resources for deploying in the field to do the sort of things that we were up against, and that was never part of our budget anyway. We weren't seeking to do that. That's not a strategy that we employ. But, in terms of being able to pay our media houses for the advertising that we had booked and developing that advertising and paying our party workers, for their efforts and the paraphernalia and so on that we were able to hold our own. And going forward, we will just be encouraging Jamaica to understand the importance of maintaining financial balance in how they fund political parties, because if one party has excessive resources relative to the other, it can affect the democratic outcome of elections quite easily. So, these are the sort of arguments that we impress upon donors, and we have been, we get good response for the most part. So I don't have any issue really there with the fundraising side of the campaign.
Success. Good. All right. Greetings to all at the press table. President MG, this one is for you, sir.
Who is this?
I am Baba Tunde's Stargate Communications. Before I get into my questions, I would just like to start on a positive by saying there are some things that you initiated that changed the experience for the Rastafari community, especially with the ganja experience and all. Only more than for doing, but we must acknowledge when positive moves made. We acknowledge that. So we kick off the part. So the first question, seeing all of what we see now, maybe some 8-9 days after the election, was the People's National Party fully prepared? I have two more. I can know if I have to pause and answer or go with the other two and then.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we didn't ultimately win the election suggests that there are areas where our preparation could have been stronger. You know, I think that what we have come to realize going through this experience is that some of the tactics that we have to manage are not normal orthodox in the book tactics, but are things that are being deployed quite effectively by our opponent, which we haven't yet, I think, mastered a methodology of responding to. So I think I would say what would you regard as the orthodox way in which campaigns are conducted and way political organization is done, we were ready. But in terms of in specific seats, which though those tactics were being deployed, our response to them was inadequate.
All right. So in your preparation going forward, it's a little bit of small advice that you don't have to pay for. Art of war must be studied. Next question for you now, President MG. The positive way forward, and there are aspects of your manifesto that are tangible and excellent. What plans are in place? So not to wait till 2030, but to one, empower the people and implement where you can. Much appreciated for listening. You got those?
Yeah, I mean, in response, I think that I need to actually say something about that. Our manifesto was our series of policy proposals and programs that we had intended to roll out during the first five-year term that we were in government. Those things require being in government to be rolled out. An opposition party gets no state resources to implement plans and programs. We get a modest stipend as MPs to run a constituency office, and that's it. And then there's a CDF, which is a modest sum which hasn't been adjusted for inflation for many years now, of 20 million a year, out of which 1.5 million pays an administrator. So it's 8.5 million to be spent in a constituency with residents typically exceeding 40,000 people. So, you know, I don't want to pretend that the opposition will be in a position to roll out things like the First in Family Scholarship or build 50,000 housing units at an affordable price for people, or to implement rent to own to enable persons who are currently excluded from the mortgage market to become owners of their own home, or indeed a disability fund to help persons with disabilities with $1 billion in it, and those sort of things. Those are things we want to do with reform government. What we will be able to do is individual MPs who have won will be able to pursue their own particular set of policies that they had brought to the people. You know, some of them will take time. It won't happen overnight. Resources are always an issue. And to the extent they're able to garner additional support through creative methods of fundraising and using the goodwill of people who might want to support those initiatives, that will determine how quickly they can do what they want to do. But it's going to be more on a constituency and MP level that things, you'll see things happening rather than nationally, because an opposition party is not able to, or indeed expected to, implement national policies. That's for the government of the day.
Just two more. One.
So, people, so you hear everything that's going on, right? So, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.